On this episode of Deleted Wrestling Zone, we're going to talk about the latest NWA Power episode, and of course, we're going to give our thoughts and predictions for today's pay-per-view, Hard Times. We're also going to talk about the Opera Cup tournament took place in MLW, and also the Wednesday Night War, and we got plenty more to talk about. So, sit back, relax, get yourself a cold one. Welcome to Deleted Wrestling Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Alright, Nico. Did you see NWA?
I think I saw half of it.
Yeah, everybody probably... It was a good episode, to be honest with you, because I was, like, looking at everything, and I was like, there were certain matches I did not expect, but I like how some of the stories were becoming interesting.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So let's start from top to bottom. As you all know, the main event was Ricky Morton versus Nick Aldis for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, they had an interview with Robert Gibson, Ricky Morton's tag team partner of the Rock and Roll Express. He indicated he was going to show his support no matter what, because we may know Ricky Morton as a tag team champion throughout the decades. If you're not a fan of the Rock and Roll Express, get off the bus. But if you guys know who he is and know his reputation, his stats, then you got to pay attention to that.
He's also had a single. He's done main event singles matches with Ric Flair back in the heyday of the NWA.
Yeah. So, let's go with the first match that they have. Thunder Rosa versus Tasha Steelz, which was a rematch to Into the Fire that took place. I kind of saw the writing on the wall that Thunder Rosa was going to win this one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on. Who isn't a fan of Thunder Rosa, and you cannot predict that?
Come on now.
You can't fool us both. But of course, you saw the beginning of when she comes out. She's like not happy that she has to go through this match again.
Oh, yeah.
She's the kind of person who is not here to make rematches. She's like, I'm already beat this person once. Once is enough. Mm-hmm. But it had to happen. But the interesting part after the match is when they asked her about Melina, which kind of irritates her, you know? Like, she's not the boss.
Right.
She's more of the hired muscle. And, of course, she told Marquez that why not ask her himself, which that's what he should have done first. Mm-hmm. Don't ask Thunder Rosa. Then we have one of the matches for the NWA Television Championship Tournament. It was Trevor Murdoch versus Tom Latimer. Thoughts on that one?
That was for the television title, right?
Yeah.
In a tournament, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really didn't really
see it.
No, I saw it. I just don't have that much invested in either of those competitors. Who won?
Trevor Murdoch.
Oh, that makes sense. I'd actually most likely would see him as the winner of the whole tournament.
I think he's one of those guys that I picture that he could make it all the way, or maybe to the finals.
Oh, yeah.
One of those scenarios, because we're still in the process of trying to see who's gonna be crowned the first one. So
him and the question mark.
Yeah. And then of course originally it was supposed to be Melina versus Allison Kay, but Melina decided not to get involved in this one. She Allison Kay was saying that she's manipulated, she plays mind games, and Melina actually was doing that.
Yeah.
And of course, she said that she's not going to fight her for the title. It's going to be Thunder Rosa instead. I think for Allison Kay, she just doesn't understand what's going on. Why is she playing these crazy mind games? Maybe that was part of her plan.
Well, yeah, it was a smart move. Step outside of kayfabe. It was a smart move to put Thunder Rosa in that number one contender spot. Because, like I said I don't know if it was last week or the week before, Melina coming in, and after Thunder Rosa already made her debut, Like, she's the new one. She's the new one in town. Like, strap a rocket on her and just push her, dude.
Yeah, definitely. But later it turned into a no disqualification match between Allison Kay and her former best friend Marty Bell.
So, I actually like Allison Kay. She's like, I haven't actually seen her wrestle, but just from her from her charisma, she's a believable champion. She's one of the more believable champions that's out there right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, and this match kind of showed more of the aggressiveness of Marty Bell.
Oh,
Basically, she was never that aggressive, and now that she's on Melina's wing, she's learning more from her. And sadly, she didn't win the match, but at least it showed her that she's willing to learn from Melina.
Right.
Something that Allison Kay, in story-wise, has failed to do, which kind of fits into the story. And then we jump in with that whole recap with Morton, and Aldis. As always, this whole thing started back when Aldis claimed belongs along with the greats like Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, Harley Race, and Morton doesn't believe that. He's not yet in that level, So we've seen that before. And then we had the karate demonstration. I mean, this is not Karate Kid.
This is Cobra Kai.
But it was kind of interesting, but later we just saw who was behind one of the masks of those students. Ricky Starks.
That's great.
I mean, I like how they're giving them that good story, the rivalry between him and Aaron Stevens.
Oh, it's excellent. It's really excellent.
If you guys haven't seen the story, in the beginning of NWA, Aaron Stevens faced Ricky Starks because Ricky Starks had enough of him talking too much. And that whole rivalry, he lost to Ricky Starks at least 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was interesting how they're going to go with the story. Now, I don't know if you saw this one because you said you only saw half of it.
Yeah.
They have for this thing called the NWA Television Championship Last Chance Gauntlet.
For like the losers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you see that?
No.
Okay. Basically, it started out with 2 wrestlers. And every 2 minutes, they'll bring in new guys. So I'm not going to go with who's going to go. Let's go who got eliminated from first all the way to the winner.
Okay.
So let's go with that. First person that got eliminated, well, surprise, surprise, he got eliminated fast. Josephus. Yeah. Caleb, Conley, and CW tossed him off real quick. Second person that got eliminated, Dave Dawson. Then Sal Minaro, Caleb Conley, CW, Aaron Stevens, but he got eliminated by a mistake by the question mark. He spiked them by accident. It was supposed to be Cabana and Anderson that got supposed to be spiked.
Was the question mark and Josephus in the ring at the same time?
No. Aaron Stevens was hiding under the ring when he got in.
Oh, okay.
And then when the moment was when people thought, okay, we see Cabana and Anderson as the last 2. Here comes Stevens. He grabs them both, and here comes the question mark trying to spike them, but he accidentally spiked Aaron Stevens. So basically, his plan did not work. And then sadly, we went to the final 2. This is what we've been talking about, the story between Colt Cabana and Mr. Anderson.
Ooh.
And the winner for this one was Ken Anderson. And that's when the story becomes friends become enemies. Anderson turned on Cabana.
I can see that. Makes sense.
We've seen many feuds that started out as friends and then they turned to each other. I mean, I can go on the list as much as I want.
All of a sudden you're going head first into a barbershop window.
Yeah, that kind of story. So yeah, Mr. Anderson is the winner for this gauntlet match, so he gets a spot in the first round of the television championship tournament that starts on our times. And then we have a little sort of like an interview with Eli Drake and James. I have to say, this one was the best. These guys came out because they were showing their support to Ricky Morton. Mm-hmm. They know who he is, they know. And the best part is, James Storm gave a little prayer. It's like, dear Lord in heaven, please make sure that Ricky Morton wins. If he wins, we're all getting some beers tonight.
There you go.
I love the preach. I mean, you should go back and watch it.
I definitely am right after this.
Yeah, so
Catch up.
it's so funny because I love how this storyline plays out. Then we had an interview with one of the contenders for the NWA Television Championship match named Dan Math. Now, Math, I don't know much about him, but I have heard his name on certain independent promotions.
Mm-hmm.
He's this huge guy, and he's proving that he wants to dominate this tournament. So I gotta see where they're gonna go with this guy, what he can do. Then we had a message from Flip Gordon to Nick Aldis.
The mercenary?
That's right. You see, Flip hasn't forgotten what Nick Aldis did to him at Ring of Honor.
Yeah, he almost costed him his spot at All In.
Not that, but happened the last time. Basically, when the La Facción Ingorbernables nearly took out PCO, and he came out to help him.
That is true.
And Aldis threw him through the turnbuckle and hit him in the shoulder. Basically, Flip hasn't forgotten that he sneaked behind him and just tossed him there. So now this is becoming more of a feud. So we are expecting him at Hard Times. And then we see the owner, Billy Corgan, on commentary to see this match, the main event, between Ricky Morton and Nick Aldis. Now, I never predicted this match. I just wanted to see where they're going to go with this one. This one was a really hard, good match between both. We have legend versus a guy who wants to be the legend. That type of story. Pretty interesting moves. Even Ricky Morton put out the figure 4 leg lock in homage to his friend, the Nature Boy. But of course, sadly, Nick Aldis took the win.
Oh.
But right in the middle of the ending, guess what was happening? A little message from Skrull telling him he'll see him at Hard Times. So basically, we're going to see this feud between Marty Skrull and Nick Aldis come into fruition. So we may see those two down the line in the future for a title match. So we'll just go for that. Now, I'm gonna jump in now with the card, but also get your predictions for Hard Times. All right. Now, we have Nick Aldis versus Flip Gordon. What are your thoughts on that one?
It should be a fun match to watch. I don't think he's going to squash him, but I'm going to go with Aldis for the win.
I'm going to say this is going to end in no contest. Because here's the thing. Nick Aldis, he's the leader of the Strictly Business faction. You got Flip, he's a member of the villain faction. And not to mention, his boss was friends with Nick Aldis. So I see there's going to be a lot of interference from both sides.
Yeah, disqualification through interference.
Yeah, so that's what I predict is going to end. Then we have Allison Kay versus Thunder Rosa for the NWA Women's Championship match. Prediction?
I don't see why not. It should go on Thunder Rosa.
Same here. I feel that they should give her that title because I've seen her on the independent scenes for a long time, and I think she should be recognizable more.
And I believe she's the new Princess Champion over there at
Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling. Yeah, one of the DDT sister brands. Then we have the national championship match between Aaron Stevens and Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner.
1-on-1?
Yep.
Huh. What's the story behind that?
I don't know. They didn't say anything about that. I think they just threw him in there because I think he's now officially with NWA.
So they're going to save Aaron Stevens and Ricky Starks for another...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's what... And then finally we have a three-way tag team match for the NWA tag team titles. The Rock and Roll Express versus the Wild Cards versus Eli Drake and James Storms.
We'll go with James Storms and Eli Drake.
Same here. I feel they should go with that. Then finally we have the first round. Then we're going to go with the first round matches for the television tournament.
Oh,
So there's 4 matches.
okay.
So here's the first match: Tim Storm versus Ken Anderson.
I see Tim Storm going over.
Part of me feels it's Anderson.
Huh?
Part of me tells me Anderson.
Ah.
Because since he turned completely heel, that kind of explains it more.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. Then we got that moron Zicky Dice versus Dan Maff, the new guy. I'm going for Dan Maff.
I see it going to Zicky Dice because they want that heat. I can see him getting that heat after he wins.
Yeah. Then we had Trevor Murdoch versus the question mark.
Oh, the question mark's gonna win.
Definitely. Then the final. I don't know if you heard of him. Matt Cross versus Ricky Starks.
It has to be Ricky Starks.
Definitely. Come on. So yeah, so that's happening today. Hard Times. So if you guys haven't ordered Hard Times, do so now. If you guys missed it, but you want to order it, you can still do that and watch it. So I'm gonna watch it. You probably watch it somewhere.
I'll catch it somewhere, but I'll be at a Fist Combat tonight.
Oh, yeah, we'll explain that later on the end of this episode. So yeah, so that's the end what we got for NWA. But we will keep updates for the results for Hard Times on the following episode. So we'll be right back. All right, Nico, what do you thought about the Opera Cup tournament so far?
I thought it was awesome. I liked it because it told a lot of story. Not just didn't tell a good story in the ring, but it also told a lot of history about like the whole like why it was called the Opera Cup. Like if you hadn't caught it, the reason why it was called the Opera Cup because this tournament is so old. This goes before there was stadiums and gymnasiums and all that stuff, to where the wrestling events took place in opera houses and playhouses. Like that's how old this cup is. And shout outs to David Boy Smith Jr. for getting the win. I liked how he didn't just want to inherit it from his.
He wanted to earn it.
He wanted to earn it. Yes.
I mean, he knows how much this cup means a lot to him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he inherited his cup right after his grandfather died.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys know who he is, and those who don't, it's the legendary Stu Hart. So he was the last Opera Cup winner back in 1948, and he kept that cup somewhere. He didn't say if it was in the storage or a closet, but he kept it, and he brought it with him to MLW. And I have to say that bringing this old tournament kind of gave MLW a different perspective in their product.
It actually legitimized their brand, if you really think about it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We've seen many promotions, they do different type of tournaments, but this one was a very old tournament, but it worked perfectly for them. Yeah. I'm not going to say, oh, it's a bad idea. I mean, sometimes you got to try something new, but if it's an old one, then see how it goes from there. Yeah. But if you guys think it's, Davey Boy Smith, he inherited because of his grandfather, like, no, he didn't just did it because it's his name. He did it because he wanted to honor his grandfather, his hero. That's one of those things that makes Davey Boy Smith Jr. a unique individual. He knows about his family lineage, but he has to honor the family lineage no matter what. But yeah.
And then MLW also announced that they'll be doing the Opera Cup annually as well.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. So now we see that the Opera Cup tournament is a huge success. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going for them for another year. See how it goes. So now let's go with this match for the MLW Middleweight Championship. They had the current champion Myron Reed versus the Strong Hearts member El Lindaman. That was a good match.
It was.
I mean, we did not see interference from Injustice at all.
Lindaman is freakishly strong for his size.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he's kind of like, don't let the size fool you.
Yeah, he's...
I mean, if you guys haven't seen Lindaman, you can see him AEW or other promotions that have appeared, or OOWE, you know. So you can see this guy, he's no joke whatsoever. So, but Myra, we took the victory on this one, but even though this one was a good match for Lindemann to step away from the Strong Hearts as a tag team competitor and show his showcase as a single competitor. You know, I have to say that's a good move out of that. Then we continue on with the message with Mercer with Havoc.
I was just thinking about that, dude. This is a very underrated rivalry right here, Havoc and Mercer. Like I'm enjoying this.
I mean, we don't see that many hardcore rivalries that much ever, you know. But these seems like these guys are willing to go that further, you know, to take it. Then we had that little promo with King Mo where he wants to face Jacob Fatu for the title.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm down to see that because the thing is this: Jacob Fatu, he's not afraid of no one.
He doesn't need to.
No, I mean he's a beast for Christ's sakes, or people call him the Samoan werewolf.
Yeah.
So I don't think he has any problem to face him. Then we jump in with the recap with Gino Medina. After what he did a week ago, he immediately attacked Conan because Dynasty made him realize Conan is a sleazeball. You know, that what's in it for him to use Gino. Yeah. And Gino kind of opened his eyes and sided with Dynasty. Then we see the Dynasty segment, as we always see every week, where they're happy that Gino made the right choice. And Gino was making a point what kind of sleazeball Conan really is to him. But of course, there's also the repercussions that Gino did. He was booked in a match against Savio Vega, one of Conan's oldest friends.
I really enjoyed that match right there. It was a nice passing of the torch moment with Savio Vega versus Gino. Just the fact that he put Gino over, and and with Savio Vega, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but Savio Vega, he's a really good worker for being such a veteran. Like he don't do all that fancy stuff, but he can still work. He can sell, and him putting over Gino, that was a good move on MLW.
Yeah, I have to say that even though I've seen Savio before, you know, back in WWE when it was known as WWE back in the time, you know, he still looks good, you know, to wrestle for a guy his age, you know. But I don't recall back then he was doing what he's doing now, but it's working for her. Like he's evolved throughout the years, you know. But yeah, but next week we're gonna see more what's gonna happen. I'm trying to figure out. I'm right now. I saw photos on Twitter where they set up the barbed wire for that match between Mercer and Havoc. So I'm excited to see that. So if you guys are interested, so pay attention to when that is happening. If you guys don't like the look of blood, then don't watch it. So that's it. What we got for MLW, but we will continue more with them next week. All right, this week's Wednesday Night War became interesting. Both shows did hella good job. We saw some title change from both sides. Yeah, so let's just throw in the views and just to get it out of the way fast. If you guys want to know who got the most views, AEW Dynamite got the most views, 871,000.
Bang bang.
And for NXT, 769,000. So basically, that's what we knew. But at the end of this segment, I'm going to talk to you about something that got into my attention. Yeah. So let's go with AEW on this episode. If you guys know, they were at the Jericho Cruise, a very unique setting. I don't know if you saw that.
It was on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think of how it was set up?
I thought it was awesome. I liked how they did it.
You know,
it's too bad that Vince turned down the cruise twice.
I think the problem is this with Vince. I think he might have thought maybe it's too much money or it's not going to work. But AEW made it work.
Well, you have to with Vince, you have to show him, you have to show him what it is you're actually talking about. Like when Brett brought to the attention of a ladder match, he didn't get it until you had to show it to him.
Yeah, but also Square Circle Psychobabble said this on their YouTube channel last night. They love the camera angles where they were going with this one. I mean, did you pay attention to that?
Nah.
He said that he liked how there was that one angle in the corner, like from here, like here's the ring, Here's the camera right here.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it. And then there was like one camera guy in the corner where there's like the ramp right here going to the ring, and he got a really good shot of the lower part.
Oh,
You know,
it's like some like old school WCW outdoor shows.
yeah. So that was one of the things that I had noticed. I said it was pretty good. I mean, they didn't have to use too many cameras.
Yeah.
You know, it was just simple, whatever they can get. Of course, there's that one camera right in the center where you can see it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The hard cam.
yeah, the hard cam. So basically, it was a really good show. This camera setting was great. Now let's jump in with the first match. This one was for the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Thoughts on this one?
I didn't think they were gonna win.
I don't think anybody,
I
but
didn't think they were gonna get the W on that one.
no.
I mean,
But you know, there is talk. You know, I mentioned these guys a whole lot. The Square Circle Cycle Babble. They said they felt like they did a pretty good move of having these guys win the match. Now the reason is this: is the story with Hangman.
yeah.
You see, if you saw at the end of the match, that you see the Bucks coming out to celebrate and congratulate Kenny and Hangman for winning. You know, like this is like a huge win for the Elite. But of course, Hangman, he stepped away from the Elite.
Well, he didn't understand what was the reason for them to even come out and like get the camera time. Like his whole thing, I'm kind of on Hangman's side about this. Like let him get his little moment without like the whole fanfare, you know?
Yeah, not to mention he got crowd surfing right after drinking beer, so that was a good scene to watch. You know, it looked like he was having a good time, giving him the crowd surfing moment.
He came here to do some cowboy shit.
Then we had that Revolution promo. You know, the next pay-per-view. If you guys know about this one, this takes place back in Chicago. Not at the Sears Center. It's somewhere else. The Wintrust something. But yeah, so that's going to take place in February 24th or 29th. Don't remember, but I should have put that in my notes, but I didn't.
Coming soon.
Yeah, so coming soon. Now the next match, it's Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Priscilla Kelly.
Priscilla Kelly's beautiful.
Yeah, you should tell that to her husband, Darby Allin.
Darby Allin.
I mean, it makes sense why she was there, you know?
Yes.
Possibly want to have a little good time with her husband.
Oh yeah, easily.
But yeah, I have to say, even though we've seen Priscilla, like, with MLW, it was great to see her here in AEW too as well. You know, because I think she should be recognized more, you know, out in the on TV time.
I think they should have kept the spider gimmick, and then do the reveal. They should have held on to it for a little longer. I like the
Yeah.
spider gimmick.
Yeah. So Britt Baker took the victory on this one, but I don't know if you what you thought about how the whole thing with the post match happened with the interview.
Oh man, Britt Baker, I like her heel persona right now. It needs a little bit of work, kind of rough around the edges, but I like where we're going with this. It makes sense. Like, you know, her character should be sour about, like, you know, where she's at. Like, you know, she's in the same boat as Pac, if you really think about it.
Yeah. Now the next match we have, this one was sort of like a continuation between the story between two of the wrestlers from the opposing teams, between Jungle Boy and Jericho. So this one became Jurassic Express versus the Inner Circle's Jericho and Santana Ortiz. What do you thought of this match?
What's it called? Didn't really see it.
You didn't see it?
Nah, I didn't.
It
really
was
get
a
that
good
part.
match. Jungle Boy started out the match with Jericho.
Okay.
And it was like Jungle Boy was reminding him after what happened the last time they confronted each other in the last December.
Yeah.
Where Jericho claimed he beat him, but he didn't. It was a time limit draw. He lasted 10 minutes. So there was some good moments with not only Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus and Marco Sun, like moments with all three of them, what they can do. Because if you notice, the Jurassic Express is the fan favorite.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah, but there was some great moments with in this match. You know, in this 6-man tag match. I'm trying to remember so many parts. But of course, right there in the corner, you see a Hagar as always. But of course, people are still asking when we're going to see Hagar in a wrestling match, because we do see Hagar in rivalries not only with Luchasaurus, but with Dusty Rhodes as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we still waiting for that. But sadly, at the end of this match, Inner Circle won this one, as always. Now let's jump in with they throw in this little recap between MJF and Cody, as always. They're still throwing about MJF's stipulations to Cody that he gave him. 1, he cannot touch him before Revolution. 2, 10 lashes on him on TV time. And 3, in the cage match with Wardlow. So, of course, Cody accepted. You know. Then they had the match between Joey Janela and MJF. Did you see that one?
Joey Janela? No, I did not.
This one was a good match between them. I was seeing like certain grading work with him, you know, because we all know Joey Janela's reputation from other promotions that he's done hardcore stuff, but this one was a straight solid match for him. But right before he was about to make his move, guess who showed up?
Who showed up?
Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford. Yeah, basically, they're intensifying the rivalry between them, between the storylines. So yeah. But once MJF won this match, he started ranting out on Cody. And Cody comes out, you know, try to confront him, not to touch him. But he tried everything in his power to ensure that Cody breaks the stipulation.
However,
apparently Cody had other plans.
right.
He told him that he reiterated him, I can't touch you. But they can. So he got a little super kick party.
Absolutely.
So right after that, Cody asked the fans if they wanted him to see him toss in the pool. Eventually he did, and it was so funny, and you can see that MJF can't even swim.
Oh shit, he can't swim.
They're like laughing at him, and all the crowd's like, you can't swim. You can't swim. This was a humiliation moment, and best moment to see. I mean, we have seen with WCW where people did that bash in the beach and they get tossed in the pool.
You can't have a pool next to a ring without someone going in the pool.
Yeah. I mean, it's not natural if you don't. But I'm glad they did, you know. Then we come into the main event. But before the start, Chris Jericho showed up. And he was giving his thoughts about when Idiot Moxley said he doesn't want to face neither of them. But he'd rather see Pac win. You know, so we jump in with the main event between Jon Moxley and Pac. Now, this one was for the #1 contendership for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship that's going to take place at Revolution. Now, you still see Moxley with the eye patch thing. You know, covered his eyes. Mm-hmm. But, of course, as Pac, as the villain he is, he targeted the eye.
Of course.
I mean, that's the whole point. I think they played that part really beautifully, you know, because you showed your weakness out in the open, you know. And, of course, everybody were rooting for Jon Moxley to win this one because they want to see him win it and go to Revolution to face Chris Jericho for the title. And, frankly, it did happen that way, you know. Any thoughts on that?
Moxley given Pac his first singles loss.
Mm-hmm. He did.
Mm-hmm. It was a good move. Mm-hmm. Didn't expect it, but it makes sense storyline wise for Moxley to be the #1 contender for Jericho. I see Moxley beating Jericho for the title, and then Pac going after it.
Yeah, I agree. Now, before we jump into NXT, I want to talk to you guys about this. Mm-hmm. And I just mentioned this to you today. Mm-hmm. During the cruise, they never put this on televised. I'm assuming it might be part of AEW Dark.
Yes.
There was a 6-man tag team match that took place. It was the Elite, Kenny and the Bucks, versus SCU.
Ooh.
Now, post-match, after this, Kenny said that he has been considering and thought about having for 2021 on the next Jericho Cruise a 6-man tag team tournament. You know, what do you think of that?
I like it, but I thought they didn't want to have too many belts.
Well, right now they're focused on the current ones they have.
Okay.
You see, according to Wrestling Observer, that has been thought of for a while, but primarily they want to focus on the 3 current ones they have, which is the world title, the women's title, the tag team title. So those are the 3 they're currently giving the focus.
Yeah.
But they said they want to start this in 2021 on the next Jericho Cruise. Do you think this will be a successful thing once we get to that point?
It will if we have more factions.
Yeah, I mean,
have...
I think the thing is, Square Circle Cycle Battle mentioned this, that it could work because we have seen many factions. We've seen the Dark Order, we've seen SCU, we've seen MJF with the Butcher and Blade, the Elite, the Inner Circle. You know, we have the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy, Jurassic Express. We've seen many of these guys team up in trios. We've seen them a lot, and it's a perfect opportunity. But right now, I think they know it could succeed, but they just need to focus more on the current titles they have.
Oh yeah, build it up.
You know,
New Japan and RH, they're doing pretty well with the 6-man tags.
Yeah, the 6-man never open weight tag team champions and the ROH 6-man tag team. I know Lucha Underground had that before. I know certain Mexican promotions have that. Just to remember which ones. But yeah, I mean, we could see that because we've seen many tag teams that go with 3s before, you know, with championship things. But if AEW can make it a success, then I'm down to see it. But we just gotta wait until we get to that point. That's gonna be in 2021. You know, so let's just focus right now on the current titles. But we'll get to that when we get there. We got a long way to go.
Coming soon.
Yeah. Now, NXT. Thoughts on this one?
I'm starting to like the Grizzly Young Veterans. They are actually, they're actually pretty dope. I didn't see them beating Red Dragon, but they didn't. They got distracted by Imperium.
Yeah, the Grizzly Young Veterans, they if you guys don't follow their history from NXT UK, they were the first inaugural champions from there. And of course, I wasn't sure if they would ever beat Undisputed Era because last year they won it.
Yes.
And now we're determining, okay, could they still pull it off? But sadly, it didn't happen that way because they got distracted by none other than their opponents for Worlds Collide tomorrow, Imperium. And Imperium hasn't forgotten what happened the last time at NXT UK TakeOver in Blackpool, where Undisputed Era attacked them out of nowhere and just invaded their house.
Yeah.
So this is becoming more of an interesting story between both factions because we have seen Undisputed Era, how they have functioned. But I've been looking more onto the Imperium. To me, they don't seem like they are the most dominant force, but the way they act is what makes them distinct from each other.
Oh, yeah.
Imperium, they're always been the dominant. They're always trying to be proving they have the much better style. They are stronger. They have better in-ring ability. The Undisputed Era, they're more of the team that will do whatever it takes to ensure they stay in this position.
Undisputed Era, all of them are main event talent, basically.
Yeah. So, and then we have the little recap between Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley. If you guys don't follow the story between those two, Rhea Ripley was the first ever women's NXT champion.
Yes.
And the person she lost the title to was Toni Storm. And now it seems that this whole thing has become reliving that same rivalry back in NXT UK between
full circle.
Yeah. So basically, Toni Storm wants to dethrone her, proving that it can still dethrone her like last time. And we just gotta wait and see when that happens, but it's gonna happen tomorrow at Worlds Collide. Then we see Shotzi Blackheart. The world was shocked what she did last week, where she eliminated Shayna Baszler. And now people say she made a statement, but Shayna Baszler's not impressed by her, saying that you just walked into a bad position. So that was going to take place later on tonight. Then we had a match between Tony Storm and Io Shirai. What did you thought of this match?
It was a good match. It was a decent match. Was there interference?
Yeah, it ended up in no contest.
Yeah.
Basically, Bianca Belair came out. She came out to take out Tony Storm because she's not happy that Tony Storm showed up. Bianca Belair wants to be the one to dethrone Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, like a lot of their, like I love watching NXT, but like a lot of their, not a lot, but like a lot of the really good matches where like they can't really have a decisive win over. They don't really have a decisive win between their talent because like both talents are so over that they don't want one to like get a victory, so they'll just have a disqualification, have someone come in.
Yeah. Then we see a Ripley showing up. Basically, she knows she has a target in her back.
Bianca Belair, then Ripley.
Yeah. Then there's that, yeah. And then we see the message with Finn Balor's opponent for Worlds Collide, Ilja Dragunov. This guy, he did not like the impression what Balor said to him. Basically, Balor said he looks at him, that he sees himself when he was younger. Ambition. But the one thing he said that pissed him off, that he misses. But Dragunov doesn't believe that. So he's going to prove a point at Worlds Collide tomorrow. This is going to be good. Like, you see, this guy, he has similarities with Finn Balor. But we're going to see which one is extraordinary between the two. And then we had Finn Balor versus Joaquin Wilde. I wasn't too much sold on this one.
Yeah, they didn't even show it on the replay.
Yeah. Then we had that match, Shayna Baszler versus Shotzi Blackheart.
Yeah, that was another one they didn't even show on the replay.
Yeah, but yeah, this one was more Shayna Baszler was trying to get to hurt Shotzi for ruining her plans to regain the title. Basically, Shayna Baszler is trying to do whatever it takes to become 3 times NXT Women's Champion. But of course, she won that match. And then we saw the recap. Again, friends becoming enemies. Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai. I mean, what do you think of this rivalry?
Kind of lost in the shuffle with like the scramble for the championship, and then you got like.
Let's recap how this whole thing started. Yeah. Ever since the War Games first initialized by GM William Regal, Rhea Ripley was named as the captain.
True.
So she was tasked to find people. Now, Tegan Nox was already in it, but Dakota Kai thought she would be in it. But apparently, instead of choosing Dakota Kai, she chose Mia Yim.
Correct.
Dakota Kai was not to throw the Tegan Nox, didn't have her back. Like, try to convince Rhea Ripley that she's a worthy asset to be part of the War Games. And then after that, during War Games, she turned on Tegan Nox. Because she was angry after what happened. So basically, she was bitter. She didn't get to be part of history from the start. But she decided to take away Tegan Nox's moments twice. One at War Games, one at that over the Battle Royale they had a week ago. Yeah. Then, of course, Angel Garza had an interview.
No, my point was about it being lost in the shuffle. Like, there's just so much going on in that women's division that Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai, it's like kind of an afterthought already. Like they're not even in the conversation of the titles, not even tag titles.
Yeah. Then we had Angel Garza interview. He claims that he's not worried about what's going to happen at Worlds Collide because we know Isaiah Swerve Scott is in it and 2 other guys from NXT UK are in it too. Yeah. So he said he's going to come out on top. We just got to wait and see if he can hold up. Then we had the Dusty Classic semifinal, the Broserweights versus Imperium.
So, dude, The Broserweights, that's one of my new favorite tags right there.
Same here. Like
they're killing it.
I have to say, this is a good combination between the two.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the guy who's all relaxed, all cool, and then you got the guy who's all serious, but he's getting along with the cool guy, knowing that, okay, I may not like how you act, but I dig it. You know, because these two guys are very strong competitors. You know, like you look at Matt Riddle, we know his background, he's into MMA, and of course Pete Dunne, British strong style. You know, two awesome combinations.
I like that they beat them clean.
Yeah, there was no cheating between these two. But I was like hoping on this match that somehow Undisputed Era is going to ruin that match for them, like they did last.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen that way. Yeah. And then the post match, the Grizzly Young veterans showed up, claiming that they're going to win this one. But of course, the Broserweights made a statement too.
Best line of that whole spot was when Matt Riddle goes, man. After you said manipulating joints, my mind just went somewhere else.
But I have to say, for me, I feel the team that could win this classic tournament is the Broserweights.
I want the Broserweights to win, but it's looking like the Grizzly Young veterans.
Like you started getting into them.
Yeah, it's not that I'm getting into them. I'm seeing why. I'm understanding why they keep getting all these victories and why they were the inaugural tag champ.
Now let's jump in with the main event for the North American Championship: Keith Lee versus Roderick Strong. Thoughts on this one?
This match started making me This match is starting to make me appreciate Roderick Strong. I didn't really get him. I didn't really get like the thing. But I noticed a spot when they're at the top rope. Roderick Strong corrected some feet placements after doing the avalanche ankle slam.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good match. Has Olympus fallen? Is this the beginning of all the titles leaving the Undisputed Era?
I feel it could be, because here's the thing. Like, let's just step out of let's get into the story wise.
Yes.
Does this mean for the Dusty Classic tournaments, whoever wins, do they get a shot at the titles?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, that's what I see. Now, the real question is, in this one, who has the most chance to beat Adam Cole for the title?
Oh, you know it's going back to what's his name?
Tommaso
Ciampa.
Definitely, I see that too. But yeah, and of course, this one was a great match, and we're happy to hear Keith Lee won the match.
Much deserved. He's been killing it. A definite, really good workhorse, breakout star. The same with what I said about Thunder Rosa. They need to just keep going, and they need to just keep going with it. Push them to the goddamn moon.
All right. So yeah, but right before it ended, we saw the continuation rivalry between Undisputed Era and Imperium.
Oh yes.
You know, I have to say I like the combination, this story-wise, where they're going with this, because these two are from opposite sides of the world. Like, how often do you see two dominant factions face off? Not that many. Let's just review a little bit of the stats with these guys.
Yeah.
Okay. We look at Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, known Fish and Riley for years. Yeah. They started out great as a trios.
Right.
And then here comes Roderick Strong, who felt. Sorry about that, folks.
How you doing?
All right, folks. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties or interference. Now, I was saying about Imperium.
Right.
These guys are mostly European. They're not native to the UK. You look at Walter. You look at forgot the other two guys. Three of the four guys are Germans. You look at one guy, Italian. These guys are dominant in their European. Then you look at Undisputed Era. They're mostly guys that are willing to do whatever it takes to maintain the status that they deserve to be at the top, no matter the cost, no matter who gets in their way. That's the difference between them. I mean, this rivalry is becoming great, you know, between both Imperium and Undisputed Era. But we just got to see which one will come on top tomorrow. Who do you think will come on top?
I believe it's undisputed that the Undisputed Era will come out on top.
Yeah, so we just got to wait and see where they're going to go with this one tomorrow. So if you guys don't have the WWE Network, or if you do, then watch it. Because this is going to be great to see both NXT brands facing off together.
And if you time it just right, you'll get to see the Royal Rumble for free and WrestleMania for free.
Yeah. So that's it what we got for this Wednesday Night War. So we'll be right back with more. Alright folks, we got Ring of Honor. Hardly we talk about them. But this upcoming event, their pay-per-view, this is their version of WrestleMania called Supercard of Honor. If you guys haven't heard of it. But they just announced recently in this week, or who knows how long, who's going to participate at this year's Supercard. So here are the ones that have been announced. Marty Scurll. Jay White. Dragon Lee. El Fantasmo. Will Ospreay. I don't know this guy. Slex. Jeff Cobb. Jay Lethal. Kenta. Roosh. Taiji Ishimori. PCO. Mark Haskins. TJ Black. The King of Sneaky Style, Rocky Romero. The Amazing Red. And of course, the National Treasure, Nick Aldis. Thoughts?
Thank you, Marty. That's all I gotta say is thank you, Marty, for making at least me give a shit about Ring of Honor and doing intelligent booking. Like, that's really good save right there. Really good save, especially bringing in fans that are already invested in New Japan and the Indies, and and people that are also interested in NWA. Like, you know, this is the beginning of, you know, the territories coming back.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Aldis, I just heard this last night on the Vicky Guerrero podcast, excuse me. Nick Aldis was the guest, and Vicky was amazed how NWA is now becoming its own product. And Nick mentioned this, that he's very happy for Marty what the position is. He feels that each of the people that we're friends with, you know, like him, Marty, and the elites, that they run their own promotions. They can bring together all the rest of, like, the show, like the WWE's like, you don't need to self-contain yourselves.
Right.
You know, we could work together.
Yeah, isolated.
You know, but WWE's always been the promotion that isolate themselves from others.
They're the Disney of wrestling.
Yeah. And you look at now, things have changing, you know? Yeah. And for them, they think they don't want this to change. They want to remain as dominant. Yeah. But things have to change for the better of the wrestling world, you know? And Nick Aldis said this, like, not a lot of people can go to WWE, you know? They can go to other promotions that could give them better opportunities, better, you know, better workloads, you know? And that's pretty much true. I mean, like, who said that WWE is the one promotion you need to go? Nah. Nobody said that, but they said it to themselves. But now you don't have to. And Nick Aldis mentioned that, and I look at these guys who are mentioned on this list. You know, we see guys coming from Ring of Honor. We see guys from New Japan. We see guys from other promotions. We see guys like Amazing Red. He's not officially with any of these promotions, but he got booked.
It's true.
You know, and that's one of the things we need to have today in professional wrestling. And I feel Marty is leading his pathway where professional wrestling needs to be today. I mean, do you agree with that?
Most definitely.
Yeah. So if you guys wondering when this is going to take place, the Supercard of Honor, is going to take place as the same week as WrestleMania. So we got a long way to go. So pay attention. So follow Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you guys follow on wrestling news outlets, they'll be putting more surprises.
On the Twitter.
So if you have Marty on Twitter, tell him thank you. And besides, I'm wearing a shirt. So we'll keep a tab with Ring of Honor and anything else that's coming up related to Supercard. So we'll be right back. All right, the last thing we want to talk about that's related to WrestleMania weekend, the Bullet Club Beach Party. So, Nico, what do you think of this beach party?
Is it gonna be live streamed? Is it gonna be streamed?
That's what I asked Tom on his Twitter. I asked him if there's no reply to
him. I could see it last year.
Well, there were some clips that they put in from the block party. Yeah. You know, but here's who they're gonna have. Bandito.
Of course.
Balak Fale.
Of course.
The Queen of Interviews, Alicia Atout, who's the host, like last year. El Fantasmo. Jay White. Flip Gordon. Taiji Shimuri. Ken Shamrock as head of security.
Nice.
And Matt Taven. What do you think of these guys?
I like it. I'm enjoying it. I'm just kind of sad that the real one didn't take that $25,000 offer. You know?
But cool. And I heard right after, Tom is going to be settling a score with Flip Gordon.
There you go.
So he has this thing called the Flip Cup Challenge. I'm like, okay, I put this on Twitter. Can you have someone record that?
I hate Flip Cup. That game irritates me for some reason. I don't know why.
And this is what Thomas said. Your ass is grass, Flip Gordon. Mm-hmm. I mean, look, Flip Gordon had no problem with the Bullet Club. Oh. I don't know if maybe they felt like he could have joined them.
Yeah.
But we'll just wait and see where they're going to go with it.
He never wanted to be a part of the Elite. He wanted to be a part of the Bullet Club.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I have to say, like, now we're seeing Bullet Club becoming more stand out, like last year with their block party. Mm-hmm. You know, who knows what they're gonna do next year? You know, they should keep doing this every year. You know,
I think this is the beginning of something that they plan on doing.
Yeah, because here's the thing: not a whole lot of these guys were part of the Being the Elite show,
right?
But now they're standing out on their own. So, but yeah. So, if you guys are interested, if you guys are going to WrestleMania, and you're planning to spend the whole week there, if you guys plan to go to this party, go to. If you guys do, take photos, videotape, please put it on social media so we can take a look at it. Or something, or put it on YouTube. Because, I mean, I don't know if they're going to have anybody record this stuff, you know? That's the thing. So,
well,
yeah.
They got what's it called? The interviewer over there.
Oh, yeah, Alicia, yeah. Well, we'll see where she goes for that. Now, before we go, we want to talk about, right now, the New Japan fans, like us here, and you guys out there. New Japan is starting with their brand new U.S. tour, the New Beginning USA, that starts today. Mm-hmm. Now, I already mentioned this a while back on the recent episodes, that they're going to do a tour starting today all the way to next week, or something like that. Yeah. So they're going to do a show starting in Tampa, I think. But yeah. So it's on the schedule now. It's not going to be broadcast right away on the New Japan World. Possibly, my guess, maybe the following day? Something like that. I'm not sure, because...
On In Demand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Whenever New Japan does their shows, we've seen that they broadcast it right away, immediately.
Live.
Yeah. But when it comes to here in the States, it's different. You know, so we got to wait a day or so. But I'm excited to see what to do. But just to let you guys know, I don't know if you know this, Kota Ibushi will not be participating at this tour.
He's hurt.
Yeah, so we just got to wait, and Chase Owens is not happy with it, but I forgot who's stepping up.
He's at an influenza. Yeah, he's sick.
So yeah, but sadly, yeah. But hopefully we can see him somewhere down the line here in the U.S. because I know everybody will love to see him. So that's it. What we got today. So if you guys like what we talk about, leave a comment down below. Now, if there's anything upcoming that I don't know about, leave a comment down below. But on behalf of Deleted WrestleZone, I'm J-Rod.
Nico.
We must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye and have a lively day.